What if I told you that almost every video on my channel was shot with the iPhone 12 Pro? Would you believe me? Yep, you heard it right. Over 90% of the videos shot on my channel are with this little thing right here, my iPhone 12 Pro. Every single day in the life video, a majority of my reviews, unboxings, and camera tests. But why? Well, for one, this is the phone that I started with once I chose to have more high quality videos. I used to shoot my really early videos with my Canon M50 and I didn't really like the quality as much, so I turned to my iPhone 12 Pro instead and I never looked back. And even though the iPhone 14 Pro and 13 Pro have come out since then, I still use my 12 Pro because it's very trustworthy. I have a bit of nostalgia with it, so I'm biased, and it's just an overall really good phone that is one of the greatest iPhones in my opinion. And even though I love my iPhone 12 Pro, there are some things that I really haven't been fond of over the past couple of years, and I want to share my overall experience to help you guys decide whether or not it's worth buying. Now, when it comes to overall design, there really isn't much that's changed between the iPhone 12 Pro, 13 Pro, and even the 14 Pro. But one thing that Apple seems to love changing is the back camera, and it's gotten progressively bigger over the years, with the 12 Pro being the smallest. And besides the minor adjustment, you have the stainless steel sides that are the exact same as most Pro models on iPhones, extremely wide notch on the front, rounded frame that's easy to hold, and frosted back that's very soft to touch. The 12 Pro has ceramic shield material, which is pretty durable, but since I shoot videos with my 12 Pro, I always have a case on it, and as you can see, it looks brand new even though I've had it for close to 3 years now. But if you are someone who doesn't rock your phone with a case, it should be able to survive a few drops on a wooden floor, but with concrete, you have like 2 to 5 drops before the screen and surrounding areas are liable to crack. The 12 Pro is also very comfortable to hold. It felt very comparable to the iPhone 14 Pro since they are the exact same with a rounded frame, and it also has the boxiness to it that's reminiscent of the OG iPhone 5S, which I really like when it came to aesthetics. It's also very comparable to the iPhone 14 Pro in terms of weight. It weighs 189 grams, which is lighter than my 14 Pro at 206 grams, and I think this really added to its comfort. I usually always have my phone in my hands whenever I'm running, in the house, or at work, so it really helps to have a phone that didn't really weigh me down. And lastly, the colors on the 12 Pro are pretty good. I have graphite and it looks very uniform yet clean with the gray rails, camera, and back, which makes it look even more beautiful. And so now that I've gone over how the back and sides hold up after almost 3 years of use, it's time to take a look at the 12 Pro's display. It has a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR display that on paper might not get someone hyped, but exceeds expectations when used in real life. I love that even after so much time has passed, the 12 Pro still does great when it comes to brightness. It's at 1200 nits peak, and I had no problem seeing anything outside no matter how much the sun came out. Another thing that I noticed was that auto brightness worked very well. A lot of times I didn't feel like manually adjusting my brightness, especially when I had an extremely busy day, so I would turn on auto brightness and it was very accurate like most iPhones are. And now when it comes to resolution, colors, and viewing experience, the 12 Pro does a really great job blending realism with very sharp, punchy tones. In my earlier days of having this phone, I would game a lot on it. It doesn't look as good as the newer phones like the 14 Pro or the S23 Ultra, since those screens are brighter and a little bit more punchy, but it does get the job done. I can also say the same when it comes to watching movies and YouTube videos. I'm constantly changing phones, so I can notice that it's a couple years old, but to the average consumer, it'll look just fine since it's a very high quality display. Now the 12 Pro has a really good amount of screen real estate. I felt a good chunk of its 6.1-inch display since the bezels were very small on the sides, and I say a good chunk because we still have that very wide notch on top, which you do get used to very quickly, but it can be a pain if you're coming from the hole punch camera on an Android. Also, the display was flat, so there was no shortage like on other phones that have curves, and despite the notch, the screen didn't really feel small at all. And something else that's unfortunate about the 12 Pro's display is that it only has 60Hz refresh rate. Most other phones have 90 to 120, so that's what I'm used to, but Apple makes pretty smooth 60Hz displays, and this phone is damn near 3 years old, so I'll give it a pass. And when it comes to Face ID, it still works great, very comparable to my iPhone 14 Pro. It worked very well at night, and there were rarely times where it would mess up on me, so I can say it still holds up very well. And now moving on to the most important piece of hardware that controls the life of your phone, the iPhone 12 Pro has a 2800 mAh battery that can still last you all day, but my only problem with it is the battery health. Now, of course, when I first got my phone, it had a 100% battery health, but I think that after a year and a half, it was like 86%, which was insanely fast for a phone that I paid over $1,200 for. And it's around like 83%, which isn't awful since I use it all the time to shoot videos, but I still get all day battery life when I use this phone with caution. Now, if you're someone who was on your phone all day, you're scrolling through Twitter 24/7, always taking selfies and posting on the gram, the 12 Pro will end you with about 10% if you're lucky. But if you are someone who was on your phone for a majority of the day, you use your phone moderately for social media, make a couple of calls, show some funny memes to your friends, and get around 3 to 5 hours of screen time a day, this phone will definitely last you all day. And I usually get around 4 hours of screen time with mine, so I easily end my day with about 30% worth of battery, which is great. I don't do too much, just shoot videos, and if I'm in a situation where I use my 12 Pro regularly, I never doubt it. Also, quick disclaimer for anyone who has questions, I use 5G all the time, I use auto brightness, my phone is on light mode during the day, and I rarely use power saving mode, so you might get better results if you are a power saver. Something that's disappointing for me when it comes to not only the 12 Pro but the whole Apple Pro series is that it only supports 30 watt quote unquote fast charging. Personally, this isn't unacceptable since it isn't fast enough, but also the fact that you'll have to buy a 30 watt USB-C brick if you don't have one already, which is an extra 20 to 30 bucks depending on where you get it. And to give you guys an idea of my charging patterns, I mostly charge my phone overnight since I shoot videos in the morning. I wake up, shoot a video, I airdrop my files to my computer, and I scroll on social media until I have time to charge my phone again, which is at night. So if you are someone who wants a powerful yet compact phone that can last you all day, the iPhone 12 Pro still is a very good choice. And now, just like every other iPhone known, the 12 Pro comes with a very powerful bionic chip that's specifically made by Apple, and it still performs very good even when I'm shooting videos or getting work done on it. Now, there are times where I would get a shit ton of bugs, but I specifically blame this on iOS 16 since my 14 Pro Max went through the same thing. The latest update has been much better, but you still run into some software hiccups from time to time. Now, the iPhone 12 Pro has a 12 megapixel main camera along with a 12 megapixel telephoto and 12 megapixel selfie, which still produces not only amazing videos but top-notch photos. Now, starting with zoom modes, the 12 Pro has a couple of different zoom modes. The ultra wide pics take a huge hit in quality, especially when it comes to video, but I don't really want to be too harsh on it since this phone is almost 3 years old. The shutter speed is really fast. Right here you can see me taking pictures of things that are moving fast, and not only does it capture most movements, but it still produces high quality pictures. And now next up, I will be showing you guys how the camera performs in different environments when it comes to taking pictures. And looking at some outside pictures that I took during the day, the selfies blended realism with accurate colors, the sharpening wasn't too much, and one thing that I've always liked about iPhone selfies is that you can tell the software is trying to produce the most realistic picture possible while still enhancing the quality. The same goes for every other outside picture I took. Many times I'm taking pictures of the sky, trees, streets, and just random everyday objects, and the photos had this sense of cleanness to them. Now, in a night setting, I will pretty much say that everything still looked good. The camera will automatically switch into night mode, and once I snap the shot, it will brighten everything up in the photo so that you can see very clearly. Again, it looks really good, and the only complaint that I have is the shutter speed when going into night mode. Now, taking a look at inside photos, the S23 was able to capture everything very nice, and I found the pictures to be slightly less aggressive than the outside photos in terms of sharpness. Now, when it comes to shooting video, the 12 Pro is my favorite camera to date. I shoot everything with this phone because not only does it look very clean, but it doesn't do that stupid micro camera that the new iPhones do, and the autofocus works so much better. And like my dad always says, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. So that's why I will always stick with my 12 Pro when it comes to shooting videos. The video stabilization was really good. Whenever I was shooting videos, I used everything handheld, and the movements would be very smooth, which was very impressive. So all in all, I would definitely say that the iPhone 12 Pro has a very good video camera that will give you some consistently good shots. So if you're someone who wants to shoot content or you just want a solid camera, it's definitely got you covered. And alright you guys, that's my review on the iPhone 12 Pro after 3 years of use. It's an amazing phone that still holds up very well and is arguably my favorite iPhone of all time. The only problem that I have with it is that the battery health goes down very fast and it doesn't feel as fresh as the newer iPhone 14 Pro Max. But besides that, the 12 Pro is great. It has a good display, a good but not great battery life, amazing software, and it's just an overall really good phone that I think many of you guys will like. And let me know down in the comments, do you guys think that the iPhone 12 Pro is still worth buying? Let me know. And again, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'm going to see you guys on the next one. Peace.